Remember 2008? You had The Dark Knight redefining comic book movies. Iron Man launched the MCU. And then off to the side and seldom remembered was Wanted. Universal's film followed Wesley Gibson, a burned-out nobody who gets recruited into a secret fraternity of assassins, and it turned that setup into a loud, hyper-stylized action fantasy. It was loosely based on Mark Millar and J.G. Jones' comic, and it reviewed fairly well. It made more than $342 million worldwide, which is the kind of box office number that makes somebody in a boardroom say, "We need a game immediately." So in March of 2009, Wanted: Weapons of Fate arrived on PC, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. It was developed by GRIN and published by Warner Bros. Interactive. Instead of simply retelling the movie, the game picks up right after it, continuing Wesley's story as he hunts down answers about his family and a new enemy called the Immortal. That alone made it more interesting than the average lazy movie tie-in. The game opens with a strong promise. It is fast, violent, and very clearly trying to bottle that movie energy into a third-person shooter. You slide into cover, snap between positions, slow time, and bend shots around walls to pop enemies who thought they were safe. And for the game's short length, it genuinely works well. But not for the original $60 price tag.
I like money!
One comment at the time was, "This feels like a $30 game being sold for $60. Contemporary reviews landed in the middle, with GameSpot calling it fun for a while before repetition set in. And Game Informer basically said the curving bullet mechanic was the one truly strong round in the chamber. Metacritic ended up with the low 60s score across PC, PlayStation 3, and 360. Now the studio behind the game, GRIN, was a Swedish studio founded in 1997 by Bo and Ulf Andersson. Before Wanted, they had worked on the PC versions of Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 1 and 2, and they also made Bionic Commando Rearmed. They used their in-house diesel engine across their games, and for a while it looked like as a studio they might break into the next tier. But 2009 was a brutal year for them. And sadly, in August of 2009, the studio was closed. GRIN's founders blamed delayed publisher payments and an unbearable cash flow situation. So when you look at Wanted, you're not just looking at a tie-in game, you're looking at one of the final products from a studio that was about to disappear. Now story-wise, Weapons of Fate actually makes a really smart call. Instead of replaying the movie, it acts as a sequel. Wesley is now fully in the assassin life, but the past is still chasing him. The game jumps between present-day Wesley missions and flashbacks starring his father, Cross, which helps expand the family mythology and gives the story a little more scope. There's also a femme fatale replacement for Fox in the form of Aranya, and enough conspiracy to keep things moving. GRIN and Universal even referred to it internally as Wanted 1.5. The entire combat loop is built around 3 pillars: cover, bullet bending, and slow motion. You rack up adrenaline through kills, then you spend it to curb bullets around obstacles or trigger assassin time. In the slow motion moments, you can even shoot enemy bullets out of the air. The game has a very nice snappy rhythm to it. You slide into cover, line up a curve shot, pop out, and then chain to the next piece of cover. It feels arcade fast in the best way. And honestly, that loop is fun. It's why the game is remembered as enjoyable but shallow. The central idea is strong enough to carry the whole 4 to 6 hour campaign. But the problem is the game keeps asking that one mechanic to do all the heavy lifting. I admit that it takes a long time before you get tired of seeing the slow motion takedowns, but towards the end of the game, it starts to wear pretty thin. Further into the game, there are more opportunities for hostage grabs, and that can spice up the action occasionally. The ragdoll physics and the death animations on the enemies really adds to the action feeling of this game. The boss fights force you to use the adrenaline mechanics to throw them off balance while they're hiding in cover, so you can fill them full of lead for a couple of seconds. There is some more enemy variety as the game progresses as well. Enemies that take more than one headshot, some that can dodge your bullets, and snipers where you have to time your dodges when switching cover. There's also new knife wielders that can dodge your shots and require a slightly different QuickTime section to defeat them. And then there are some at the end of the game that get ridiculously spongy. Now once you get Cross's dual pistols with explosive curve shots later in the game, this helps take them down faster. You'll also find landmines scattered throughout the later levels to help keep you from rushing through a room, and if you can time it right, you can curve shot the mines to go off in the middle of a group of enemies. That feels really rewarding. I also have to mention headshots feel really slick. There are some turret sections in the game, but thankfully these only come up a couple of times because these sequences feel less like a change of pace and more like someone realized the game was too short and pasted in some filler. Turret sections need to feel like they have weight to keep that power fantasy going. But unfortunately, the sound effects don't make this stand out.
This is not okay. This needs to stop now.
It's the same with the sniper sequences. You have a couple of times where you get to be a sniper. The game tries to frame these as tense precision moments, but in reality, you're just picking off some brain-dead enemies who sometimes politely hide out in the open, or run at you in a straight line. The rifle sound is serviceable, but there's no recoil, no screen shake, so it really doesn't feel tense or tactical. It just feels more like padding with a scope attached. Oh, and the cover you're hiding behind. Good luck spotting enemies from behind there. Since it takes up most of your screen, this may be for the sake of realism, but considering I'm curving bullets, this is the last game I'm looking for realism in. On the progression side, it's pretty light. You can unlock some extra costumes, some playable characters, and a few modifiers. But considering this game's short runtime, that's okay. This just gives the package a little extra shelf life. Visually, this game is brown and gritty and slightly overlit with bloom, but in this case, it mostly works. You're in dirty factories, cold assassin interiors, and collapsing set pieces, and that nails the movie's industrial fantasy. When the slow motion finishers kick in, it can still look pretty slick. And getting to see Wesley and Cross in the assassin outfit from the comics looks pretty cool too. So how do I feel about the game after having played through the full thing? Well, I feel like what's aged best is the thing everyone still remembers, the bullet curving. Even in 2026, that mechanic has novelty because almost no other game built an entire third-person shooter around the fantasy of shooting around cover instead of through it. When it clicks, you feel like a movie superhero. For me, this game doesn't reach masterpiece level, but it's definitely above the mess category. It's like junk food. I'm not going to crave it every weekend, but I'll absolutely fire it up from time to time just for the bullet curving mechanic. It's a solid, stylish, mid-tier action game built around one excellent mechanic. It was never going to stand beside great third-person shooters of its era, but it's also way better than the phrase movie tie-in game usually implies. Now, GRIN took the bullet-bending gimmick, they understood it was the whole reason the adaptation existed, and they built a short, violent, fun shooter around it. At this time, if you want to play it, the PC version is essentially abandonware. But if you can find a copy, it's a perfect rainy afternoon game. Boot it up, feel like Wesley Gibson for a few hours, bend some impossible shots, and move on. But let me know what you think. Did you ever play this game back in the day? And what do you think of that bullet curving mechanic? Let me know in the comments down below. Please be sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, and if you want more content like this, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you next time.